All right, this is Watercolor Techniques 4, and at this point we're playing with things that we have played with before and things we have never played with before. Like watercolor pencils, we're going to be playing with watercolor pencils. We're going to be playing with, like, the pen and ink. I've already sketched it, so that's already happened. We got plastic wrap. And that is just regular old saran wrap, plastic wrap that you would use in your kitchen. You should have some in your kitchen, or you've unwrapped something that would give you plastic wrap. And then you have the leaf print, which is another one that's kind of fun. Leaf print is basically using some leaves from outside, and I have some of those here. My house plant one from outside. Mosquito plant's kind of cool, so I thought I'd try it. And then wax paper. Also in your kitchen should be some wax paper, so we've got that. Now, color pencils are sitting here. I do have a set of watercolor pencils. Now, watercolor pencils are pretty fun, and you can just color with them just like you would anything. Just color away. Crayola makes a really nice set of watercolor pencils, and I use them quite a bit. These are Derwent. This is a set I've had for several years, and it's just a set of watercolor pencils. And a lot of people don't know about these guys. They're pretty amazing. You can draw with them like you normally would, and then you can blend with them. And I've just got a purple and an orange here. And just regularly draw. And I do love spirals, my bad. I just really like them. Okay, and then you just take your brush and you can just get them wet. So I'm getting that purple wet right there. What's nice about the watercolor pencils, if you didn't press too hard, if you did press hard like I did on this one right here, you're going to see kind of a bruising effect. So the same thing that we did yesterday where we actually pressed so hard that we bruised the paper, you can do that with colored pencils as well. And so I wanted to show you, though, that I can pretty much almost wash that color out. Let's get over here in the orange. Watercolor pencils are neat, though, because it allows for you to, I'm going to get a varied wash here. And so I can actually get rid of the marks, or I can paint with the marks and make them part of it. And just get it wet again. Or you can just leave them pencil. That's a mixed media. That's watercolor pencils. If you get a chance, they're pretty awesome. I have a set in the classroom that I share, but watercolor pencils that are like a Crayola, they work wonderfully. They don't have to get into too expensive stuff to really enjoy them. Okay, so then we have let's see, pen and ink. Of course, if you're working with pen, you can actually just paint right over. I didn't mean to paint my white dots out. I'm doing varied wash right here. So I was thinking of this butterfly. So I can just paint right over the top of that. Now if you use like a pen, the flares, they will bleed. And regular, like a pen that you write with, might bleed. But the Sharpie won't. Excuse me. Alright, so there's just playing with some color on this little bug needs some. Playing with the watercolors and over the top of a pen and ink. And that's just, it's kind of fun, it's relaxing, and you don't have to really stress, and I like doing that. So I'm just playing with varied washes over the top. Excuse me. Okay, then plastic wrap. Let's do that one. All right, so I'm going to take wet on wet. So I'm going to wet the paper. Now, with some of these techniques, you just have to leave them alone, which is tough on some of us that don't know how to leave things alone. I'm guilty. I like to mess with them. So with a plastic wrap, I'm throwing the color on here. I'm going to try to get some crazy colors here going. Maybe even a little black in here. I kind of wanted my colors to be a little darker. Ooh, there we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plastic wrap while it's wet, and I'm just going to crinkle it up over the top of my paint. And bubbles that you create will stay bubbles. They'll be lighter. Textures that are created in here, they will be there when it dries. However, if you take it off before it's dry, the textures are gone. They won't be there. All right, now we're going to jump over here to leaf printing because I don't want to take 20 minutes to do this like I did last time. Trying to keep it shorter. And you can actually literally paint the leaf. Now, sometimes the leaves are waxier than others. I'm actually painting the back side of the leaf. Okay, I'm making an effort to paint the back side of the leaf. This leaf is waxy. Let's see if I can get some brown on it at least. Come on. There we go. I'm winning. Just barely. All right. Getting some color on here. It's one of those things that once you get a leaf that really works for you, see, I've never had this one, so I don't know. We're going to see what it'll do. I'm just going to take it and press it down. Once you've got a leaf, though, that works, keep it. Keep that plant. Pay attention to where it is because you can use it again. I'm pressing. This is just a print. So basically, I'm taking the leaf and I'm printing it. And what I would do with that is later, after it dried, I can go back in there and I can fill in, I can add color, I can just do a little bit of detailing. I'm going to try this purple on this leaf. It's got a lot of texture. I don't know if I'm going to win though. Yeah, that was a fail. All right, well, but not really, because then I can go, okay, let me look at this leaf for a minute, and I can go, okay, I can just kind of go right along this edge. It still gives you an interesting texture that you wouldn't have had prior, and it gives you a little more freedom to do some interesting things. So I can get in here and add color. I could add some veining. And it could come out pretty cool looking. And I just can't resist. I got to try this one. This one is just cool looking. I don't know if I can pull it. It's got a little bit of a fuzz. It's called a lemon plant. It's supposed to make mosquitoes run away, but oh lordy, this was harder than I thought it would be. I wonder if I can stick it down in the paint. Let's try that. Oh yeah, I'm getting good and dirty. Let's see. Hang on. Okay, we're just doing the top half. Okay. Could be cool. I'd have to work on it again. There's some really neat stuff going on there. I'd have to kind of play with it maybe. I'd kind of accentuate that edge. Here, bring out some yellow on that purple on this side. You could do some really fun stuff in here and play, but it gets you kind of started, so it gives you something to work with that you probably wouldn't do as naturally looking without the help of that. Sometimes I think we need a little bit of extra help to do some interesting things. All right, there's that. And I would come back and play, and I would make the darker lines over. I might even play with some pen and ink over it. And then the last one I want to do, I'm going to pick it this minute. See, it's still wet under there, so you can manipulate it to make it do what you want. I wanted more bubbles. Hang on. Okay, that was a mistake. Don't do that. Don't wiggle it. Got to learn the hard way. All right, so with this one, I'm going to do a wet on wet again, but I'm going to go ahead and add a little green here. Kind of a background color so you can see it going on as wet. And then I have cut strips of wax paper, and I am just going to lay them down. Oh, come here. And they're sticking to my sticky fingers. The water is necessary though for you to actually keep the wax paper down. You gotta put something down there. And I am trying to do kind of a bamboo effect by cutting up the strips and having them kind of go in different directions. A little water there. And so you can think of it like a natural thing. A lot of them, these are natural looking. This is pretty much all about natural looking. And now I did some shapes like rocks, like just chunks. Alright, almost there. I'm just going to put some more on this side so you can see the different shapes. You want these to be cut like natural, like I cut some were straight, but these I ripped. I didn't cut them, I just ripped them. Okay, so there it all is. It's all wet. I'm keeping it wet. Okay, now what I'm going to do, and again, all of this is about, this one's about leaving it alone. Pretty much, leave it alone, leave it alone. I am going to go ahead and throw some purple around the edges of these so you can see it do what it does, which is kind of cool. It sneaks in. And goes around and fills in. And that is my dog, angry that there's cats in the yard, but too scared to go out there and get them. Just barking about it. Alright, I think just wherever, oh, I want to split that. I want a little bit right there. So I definitely did another varied wash because that's my favorite. And you gotta let it dry. So after you put all this color on, this is another one of those moments where you leave it alone. It's hard to do. I gotta quit. Anyway, that's it, folks. We got plastic wrap. We've got pen and ink, watercolor pencils. They're pretty cool. You might want to try to get a set. And then wax paper and a leaf print. That's it. We are done. Have fun. Alright, here we are the next day. And I wanted to show you some leaf prints from the past. There we go. Leaf print. And this is a leaf print without any detail added. These are just printed with the leaf, adding color to the leaf. Different kinds of leaves. You can go back and add detail. And so I did. I played with mine, laid a little shadow underneath, did a little playing with it to detail and make it more interesting, and it has texture on it that you wouldn't necessarily put on there yourself if you didn't have that wonderful happy accident of the pressing of that leaf. And then this one over here is some wax paper. This is the wax paper. So this is the wax paper done with the strips like I did yesterday. Here's the wax paper in chunks. This is a real subtle one. Could think of maybe rocks sticking up out of the water, or maybe leaves again. This is an interesting one to do. This is actually using colored paper and doing some washes of pink and purple and green and yellow over the varied washes over the top of that construction paper. A lot of times we don't think about what colored paper. We can use that as well with our watercolors. And then here we are with the actual wax, and I'm just going to peel it off and show you what this one came out looking like. Remember, I laid a green wash down, and then I laid these on top of it, wax paper, and well, I may have to spin it here. That's kind of the effects. It's kind of strange looking. It's got some potential though, and like, how could you use it? You'd be thinking about that. Don't forget about pen and ink. And again, the watercolor pencils are pretty amazing. And then I have the plastic wrap, which is right here. We'll just peel that away. And there's your plastic wrap. And the leaves. And basically, I want you to play. I want you to get in there and just play. Start exploring what your painting, what you can do with it. Have fun.